All right, welcome back. So we're going to talk about project 2, drawing vector graphics. So just turn that on a little bit. First part of project 2, there's a couple parts to this. There's an exercise, there's a part A and a part B. So let's start with the exercises. This is something you're going to do on your asynchronous time. You're going to complete the following tutorials in LinkedIn Learning and include the completion certificates in your project 2 assignment Dropbox. So there's 2 videos I want you to watch this week. Drawing Vector Graphics with Von Glitschka and Foundations of Logo Design with Von Glitschka. You all have LinkedIn Learning as, again, part of your COD perks, okay? I put a link on last week's, and I think I copied it on this week's too, and if not, I will do that, how to get into LinkedIn Learning. You need to go through the COD library and create an account, and I'm giving you a link to the COD library. And so you need to create an account with a COD account using your COD email and your COD password, and you go through the COD library. And I put that information up on our checklist from last week. And I think I copied it here as well. If not, I will make sure I put a link to it on this week's checklist as well. So these are 2 LinkedIn Learning. How many of you at this point are familiar with LinkedIn Learning and have used LinkedIn Learning to this point already, have done some LinkedIn Learning tutorials? Does anyone here have used LinkedIn Learning? Any familiarity yet? It's okay if you're not. Okay, so we're all new to LinkedIn Learning. Okay, great. LinkedIn Learning, let me just give you a little bit about what that is. It used to be called lynda.com. Anyone heard of that? Lynda.com? Kind of came before LinkedIn Learning. Linda Weinman developed online course material before anyone else was, digital online teaching. She was one of my instructors at Art Center way back when. So she actually, I had her last year teaching at Art Center before she went on and started lynda.com. And it became the first online teaching of software. And so she was teaching all of the different Adobe products online, and she was hiring a lot of the faculty from Art Center to also teach the Adobe products. And she would even have you come in and like to a learning lab where you showed all the computer setups. You could go in person and do that. And then she moved to all online. Well, she became very successful in Southern California doing this. Ultimately, LinkedIn bought her. So she is the only teacher I know that is a billionaire. And she is a billionaire because she sold it to LinkedIn for $4 billion. That's a $1 billion. So she is the richest teacher I have ever known. And I'm proud to say she was one of my teachers. So it's amazing. But it's just the coolest success story ever. But I will say, not only do I love Linda, and I love that I have a $1 billion teacher I know, a billionaire teacher, but she created something that is awesome. And she really hires the most amazing instructors to help learn all the creative software out there. And so the beauty is all of us here at COD have it's a subscription-based learning technologies tool, and you all have access to it. And so again, that all comes through your COD email and password that you use for COD accounts, and that you do have to sign into it through the library. And it's a little convoluted. It even took me a minute. I had to even call the librarian and say, I don't understand this quite, but I sent you the links that the librarian shared with me, how to get in and do it. So if you just got to follow it like a recipe, step by step, get your account set up. And I will, let me just show you that, since none of us have used it. I think it'll be better before I even go into this to show you how to do that first, because let me get out of this. Let me get out of this. I'm just going to walk you through it because I think that takes a minute, but here it is. Oh, wait, no, this isn't what I want. libraries. So I put the link here, the library COD. So here it is. The link I gave you in the checklist is right here. So you have, are you guys still seeing my screen? I don't see the green outline. Are you still seeing my screen? Yeah, okay, good. All of a sudden I don't see the little thing that shows me you're seeing it. So you get to this LinkedIn Learning page, okay? And so since none of you have ever signed into LinkedIn, you don't use this because this is so creating your LinkedIn Learning account, that's what you're all gonna do. You're gonna go right here to creating your LinkedIn Learning account. You're gonna say LinkedIn Learning, create an account, click there. And you're gonna enter your due page email address. So you're gonna enter this. You're gonna hit verify email. They're gonna send you an email and then you need to click that you're verifying the email that you're sending. They're proving that you're actually a student. So you have to do this step. I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again. So you're going to enter your email. You're going to receive an email to activate your account and leave about an hour for this to arrive. It's not going to happen right away. So even if you guys want to do this right now with me while we're together so that you get it later today, so you'll have it. Okay, so then once you get that email, you're going to link it. Then you're going to go into activating your learning account. So you want to, it says for the best user experience, log out of your LinkedIn account. I should ask you, how many of you have LinkedIn accounts already? How many of you use LinkedIn in any way? Does anyone have a LinkedIn account? A few of us? Okay. So you can hook this right into your LinkedIn account. So there'll be a button where you can just click onto LinkedIn Learning anytime you want to do it. But first you want to log out of your LinkedIn account first before you connect them. But it'll be easy enough for you to connect once you get it set up. So upon activation, you'll have the opportunity to connect your LinkedIn profile. So after you've been activated, then you'll connect them. And then you're going to have just a button. And I'll show you mine to show you what I mean. Let me go on to mine. Aaron, I see you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to let you know, they emailed me back about the help desk and they wanted us to let you know that you need to email them because you need to request access for all of us or something like that.
Interesting. And it's the help desk that emailed you or the learning center? Which one was it?
It was the help desk, and it says you need to contact the help desk to request access to Adobe All Apps for the for our class or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. Thank you. Awesome, Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No
I
problem.
will do that. Okay. All right, so here is my LinkedIn and I want to show you. See this right here, this little button that says learning. So here's my LinkedIn account. And at the very top where you have like the home, network, notifications, me, you click here and you hit learning. And it just hooks me right into my LinkedIn Learning account. And here you can notice I can save videos to my account. I can show you the in progress video. So here's our drawing vector graphics that I'm having you guys watch in progress. So it shows my in progress videos and it shows my saved videos. So you can just keep your own library of all the videos you want. And not only, the thing that's really cool about this is not only is it great, I'm going to be sharing with you specific videos I want you to watch, but anything you're interested in learning about is here. So, I mean, it can be, what to do when there's too much to do, like how to manage your time, establishing routines to help you with your day. I mean, you can have like things like this, they're like 30-minute lessons. It can be what are people at College of DuPage learning this week? And so it can show you other people that are other classes that are using this. You can follow specific authors and teachers. You can see that they're showing featured instructors. It can show you courses you've watched. It can show you, based on your LinkedIn skills, courses you might want to learn, animation for social media, maybe, I don't know. So literally anything you're curious about, you have access to thousands and thousands of lessons that are available to you. So you guys can peruse this vast library of resources for anything you might be interested in. And so it could be about something completely random that has nothing to do with what we're learning. It can be about, just life skills. It can be about, there are even some great ones just about like I said, like if you're feeling overwhelmed or like, how do I manage all of these things I got going on in my life? They can give you some life hacks, how to help you feel more creative, how to manage my time, how to plan, whatever, there's so many things you can look up. So it's a great resource. It's all available to you for free. Everyone else has to pay a subscription fee, and I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks a month. So it's a really great deal for all of you. So you are going to need to create your own account to sign in. Yes. So the way it works is back to College of DuPage. You're going to have to go to the library link I gave you, and you have to create an account, a LinkedIn Learning account. That's not the same as your LinkedIn account. So those of you who already have LinkedIn, it's a LinkedIn Learning account through College of DuPage. So that you do have to create, and this is the step-by-step of how to do it. So that's important. And it takes a minute. And yep.
I was gonna ask if you could send the link in the chat because I'm having troubles getting to the site for some reason.
I can do that. Absolutely. Give me 1 second here. I will put it in the chat. Where did I put my chat? Oops, I think I closed the chat.
I apologize for cutting you off as well.
It's no worries. I'm happy. Anyone can do that because I can't always see the chat when I'm lecturing. So you can always turn your mic on. It's totally fine.
Okay.
Okay. So there it is. I've just put it in the chat. So if anyone else would like that, it's available. And like I said, you're just going to walk through the steps. So you don't have an account. So don't click on LinkedIn Learning there. Click on the create an account. You're going to have to get an email. And then once you get that email, you're going to activate your account. Once you get that email, and that's what this steps is, okay, activating. So you can look at these guides for additional help setting up your LinkedIn account, and I recommend doing that. So setting up your LinkedIn Learning account link is right here. And I recommend that because it takes you step by step. Did you have another question, Cooper?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we have to use a specific email account or if we could use any.
Nope, you have to use COD. You absolutely have to use COD because that's how you'll get into the COD free account.
Okay.
If you use any other email, you're going to be charged.
All right.
You're welcome. So yeah, for both Adobe and for LinkedIn, you have to use COD emails. Okay, that gets you into the free accounts. I mean, just these two things right here, like Adobe, I think is 30 bucks a month for students. LinkedIn Learning is 30 or 40. I think it's $39. It's like it's almost 40. So, right there, you have $70 worth of recesses a month that you get included in your tuition. So that's really valuable, and take advantage of all of that. So, so here you put in to verify your email. They're going to say, check your inbox to activate your account, and then check your email for this confirmation email. And then you're going to click activate account now button. And then you'll see this screen. You now have access to LinkedIn Learning, connect your LinkedIn account. And then those of you who already have a LinkedIn account, go ahead and connect your account and you'll get that little learning button on your account. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. So back to what we're doing. So that is going to be important to go through. Did you have another question, Cooper? Or is that just your hand up from before?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay.
I'm just
No
trying
worries.
to remember if I set up an account for one of my other classes already.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, All right, so any other questions about getting signed into LinkedIn? Because this is going to be an important tool for you for this class. And honestly, it's just a great tool for you to have just for yourself. Like, have fun with it. Like, find all the things that are there. It's a great resource. Okay, no other questions, it looks like. I'm going to move back over to, gosh, I have so many things open now. I don't know which one it is. So I'm going to click out of this, click out of LinkedIn, click out of mail, click out of, there it is. Okay, so the first step that you'll be doing on your own time is watching these 2 lessons from Von Glitschka. And then when you get to the end of a lesson, it gives you a, congratulations, you've received a certificate of completion. And the cool thing about that is every time you finish a certificate, those of you who have a LinkedIn account, you can share that on LinkedIn. And it shows people that you're furthering your skills and your knowledge base. And so it's a great way to share what you're learning on LinkedIn to your future employers, right? Your future people that are going to hire you. For me, I want you to download it and include it in your process book we're going to be doing for Project 2. And we'll put it in our assignment Dropbox when we put all of the other things in. So keep track of those, keep them on your OneDrive. You might even want to just keep them in Project 2, your folder of Project 2. Every project in your OneDrive, you want to create a folder for. So Project 2, put your 2 certificates of completion in. And that just shows me that you've went through the exercise and you've learned those lessons in Illustrator. They're very in-depth. I think he's a great instructor walking us through some of those. A lot of especially for those of us who have never used Illustrator before. And that's really why I'm doing it, to help us really get a more in-depth knowledge of Illustrator, step by step, all of the tools. We're going to go over some Illustrator here in class, but I would never have the amount of time to get all of the details that you can get in one of these videos. So that's why I'm including these as part of our knowledge base. So those are going to be doing this week on your own to help you with the projects we're going to do. So today I'm going to have us work on, and we're going to talk about project part A, shape and function. And so we're going to learn today how to set up our Illustrator. We're going to set up Illustrator workspaces specifically for our class. I'm going to walk you through that. And we're going to start by learning the tools one at a time. And the first tool we're going to learn is the rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and star tools. We're going to learn the shape tools. And we're going to explore shape. The basics in graphic design is shape, right? What are the basic shapes we've all learned in kindergarten? We learned our rectangles and circles and squares and triangles. We're going to learn, how do we create design? Every design is made up of shapes. That's where everything starts from. It starts from basic shapes. So we're going to explore shapes, how we can manipulate shapes using the direct selection tool to create more abstract versions of themselves. We're going to create 5 versions of each shape, the rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and star, using that tool in Illustrator. And we're going to only be working in black and white for this project. So don't worry about color right now. And then once we kind of explore the shape tool, we're going to choose one of our designs of each of these different 4 shapes. And now we're going to multiply the chosen shape 4 times, learn about adjusting scale, orientation, and layering, and create connected compositions. We're going to share these with our group, our small groups that we went into this morning. And we're going to get some feedback from our group. Which ones do they think are working, are interesting? These are just abstractions. There's no rhyme or reason. We're just kind of seeing what compositionally works and feels good. And then we're going to take one of those directions and move it into final. We're going to take our final design and we're going to share our Illustrator file. An AI file means our Illustrator file, with all members of our group. And once we have all of our designs, we are going to now take everyone's design and combine them. So each one of us is going to take all 4 or 5 designs, depending on how many people are in your group. And you're going to now manipulate that into a final piece that includes all of your work. Each one of you are going to have your own interpretation of that. And we're going to see how we each interpreted that. And I want us to think about, when we're thinking about our final composition, where we're kind of thinking about our group, and how we are as a group. You all did this exercise this morning about what you have in common. So we want to see, when we're thinking about what are our commonalities as a group, how can we explore that connection that we will have and move forward in those commonalities. And so that last part we're going to deliver on a mural board, and I've created a mural board that we're going to put these final compositions on for part A. And you'll see it here under our group mural boards. And so each group has a section, and I put your names on it. And so what you're going to do is find your name and then put your personal shape final design that you created. And then the one you created that includes all of your group members' versions, and you're going to put that next to it. And though that's going to be the way we're going to submit it, is on mural. And I'm going to go up here. I made a little instruction. And so the way I'm going to give you feedback is I'm going to review your work by marking, there's 3 little dots on there, like a traffic light. Green is on point. They're good to go. Perfect. Yellow is approaching. That means there might be something missing or something that's not quite completely resolved. And red means it needs work. And what that means is there's something maybe fundamentally wrong. You want to review the project brief instructions, see if you followed the instructions correctly, and then maybe make corrections and resubmit. So if it's a red dot, it means that we've missed something. Something is not following the directions. Does that make sense? And so you'll see every group, you all have your spots, and that's where you'll put your final work. And that's over here on in our group mural boards for the class, our class mural boards. Okay. So the next step is I'm going to walk us through Illustrator, and we're going to kind of talk about setting up our workspace. And most of this first project we should get done in class today. So I think without further ado, I'm going to jump into Illustrator and start us off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say new file in Illustrator. I'm going to go up to the web and choose web large, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels. That's the document size I'm going to use. And it's RGB 72 pixels per inch. I'm going to say okay. So this is the document size I'm going to use. What I would like us all to do is we're going to create, and those of you who don't have Illustrator on your system, and even if you do, you might want to just take notes during this. I am recording it, so of course you can come back and watch it, but you want to maybe take some notes along the way just to kind of help you. I find for me, when I learn software, it helps me to have like a list of notes of the steps we're taking, kind of like when you're copying down a recipe to cook. It helps to kind of have the steps listed of what we're doing. So the first thing I want to do is set up my workspace. And so I want you to go to workspace and say new workspace down here, new workspace. And then I want you to name it the name of our class. I see, Cooper, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so Illustrator, is it something that should already be on our computer?
If you've put it on your computer and you downloaded it from the Creative Cloud, so look into your applications. I think you have it on your computer. If you go ahead and go under your applications, you should be able to see if you have it or not.
Oh, I see it. I didn't. I was thrown off because it has the letters AI, which doesn't seem to fit Illustrator, but oh well.
It's Adobe Illustrator. So it's A for Adobe and I for Illustrator.
Oh, I get it. Thank you.
Yep, that's what it is. So AI is Adobe Illustrator. Yep, A for Adobe, I for Illustrator. All right,
Is there
so
a way
once
for
you
me to make your screen full screen?
Yes, in your view of instead of seeing the gallery view on Zoom, say speaker view. So where it shows you, you can choose gallery. You want to go ahead and choose just the
I
speaker,
have that.
and then you can.
I see you and your screen separately. Is there a way to make it so I can just see your screen?
Let me see. Let me stop this sharing. Maybe it's something I'm doing with my sharing setup. Hold on, let me try again. Screen share, desktop. Let me just see if I can change it. Okay, are you seeing my screen now, the full screen?
What?
Are you seeing the screen now?
Yeah.
Is it better or the same?
It's mostly the same.
Okay. I don't know if I know how to take it not, let me see if I say no video, if it stops my video, if it shows you the whole screen. Does it show you the whole screen now if I turn off my video?
No. Oh, wait, I found a way.
Hide self view. Hold on. There. Does that show it or no?
No. I found that I can make it bigger somehow.
Okay. All right. All right. So let me go back to sharing screen. All right. So we're going to make our own. Workspace. So right now, the first step was you're going to go to Window, Workspace, New Workspace. You're going to name it Graphic Design 1. Okay. And what we're going to do is create our own toolbar. So we're going to go ahead and go to the toolbar here. And we're going to click on Edit Toolbar. And we're going to change our toolbar out to only include a few things that we need. So it's going to say select at the top, and you're going to see there's a selection tool, which is a black arrow. A white arrow is the direct selection tool. You want to keep those. The group selection is layered in there. There's a magic wand. We're going to keep all of those initial ones. The artboard tool, I'm going to take out. Actually, I'm going to start here. You know, I'm going to do it a different way. We're going to go up here to the corner and say new toolbar. We'll start with the new one. It'll be easier. New toolbar, and we're going to call this graphic design 1 as your new toolbar, and say okay. Okay, and then our new toolbar is right here. Are you all with me? And I got that by clicking these 3 dots at the bottom of the toolbar, going to the little hamburger menu and saying new toolbar. Okay, so now this is my new toolbar, and there's a plus sign. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click and drag the things I want on my toolbar. So I'm going to click the 3 bottom arrows, bottom ellipses, and select the things I want on my toolbar, which is I want the selection tool. I want to double click and add the direct selection tool, or maybe I have to direct click and drag. I think I have to click and drag. So I want the selection tool, the direct selection tool, the group selection tool. I'm going to put that in there as well. Okay, so those 3 arrows, the black arrow, the white arrow, and the white arrow with the plus, I'm going to add. And next, we're going to go over here to pen tool. And I'm going to add click and drag and add the pen tool, the pen tool plus, the pen tool minus, and the anchor point tool. Then I'm going to go over to the shapes tool and click on the rectangle. There it is, rectangle. And I'm placing them right on top of, you can either put them below or on top. I'm going to put them, oh, but I'm going to put them below so we can kind of see them all easily. So each of the shapes, because we're going to focus on these shapes first, project. The pair, hold on, put the star in there. Come on, star. There we go. So I have the rectangle, the rounded rectangle, the ellipse, the polygon, and the star. Okay, and that's all I need right now. Those are the only tools I'm going to worry about. So these are my tools that I'm going to use, and I'm going to take this old toolbar and I'm going to exit out. So the only toolbar I'm going to have is my new toolbar that I just made, which just has the selection tools, the pen tool, and then my shapes. Okay. So it's important to know that in the way in Illustrator, there's two selection tools, and these are how you select object. There's the black arrow, which allows you to select objects and move them around the page. The white arrow allows you to select just the points on an object and adjust the points. It won't move the whole object. It'll just move specific points. So it's more of your detail selection, the white arrow. The black arrow moves everything. So those are two things to remember, how those two arrows work when we're selecting items on the page. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take and learn about these shape tools. We're going to take and use a rectangle. I'm going to take and do a rounded rectangle. I'm going to take a circle. If you hold the shift key down, it will make a perfect circle. If you don't, you can kind of make your ellipse kind of have any shape. But if you hold the shift key down when you're doing this, you'll have a perfect circle. Same with your polygon. If you hold the shift key down, it's perfect. If you know, I guess it kind of is anyway, you can just turn it and rotate it anyway. And then you have a star. So I'm going to just move these over. If you do the square holding the shift key down, you'll rectangle, you'll get a perfect square. So you have a square, a rectangle, and I'm using the black selection tool to move the whole object. I have a rectangle. I have hold on, what did I do? There we go. Just going to move these all in a line real quickly, just to kind of show you what we're going to do. Okay, so here's our basic shapes are these four. And you can choose a regular rectangle or a rounded rectangle, either one. So here's our four shapes, that the way they come out of the computer, right? So these are the four. The tools that we've activated are the selection tools, the pen tool, and the shape tool. So those are the only tools in our toolbar. So to make a copy of one, you can take your tool and you can either draw another one underneath it, or you can copy. If you want to copy something, you can select it with the black selection tool and do Command or Alt if you're on a PC, C for copy, Command or Alt V to paste, and it'll make a copy. You can also hold the Shift, Option, Command, or Alt down and duplicate it by pulling one down. It makes a duplicate. So those are different ways to copy. Now, one of the things I asked you to do is to make the original shapes, but then go in and manipulate them. We're going to do each shape 4 times. I'm going to move these up so I have a little more space. I'm going to make one more shape. So here's I've created 4 because I'm going to do each shape 4 times and play with them. And the way I'm going to manipulate them is I'm going to go into the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, and manipulate them. The first thing you can do in Illustrator is you can go into, you see there's these little targets. Here's the square. There's these little round targets when I'm using the direct selection tool. If I select those and pull them in, it's rounding my corners. If I go all the way in, it would turn it into a circle. I don't want to do that because I still want it to be a square-ish shape. So I'm going to pull them in a little bit and round my corners. So that's the first change I'm going to make to this one. I can then also, with the direct selection tool, select a point and change the shape of my square. Like, let's say maybe I want to, and there's these handles, they're called mezzanine handles, which allow you to change a curve element. So now I'm making the shape feel like it's a little bit more dimensional. Like it's going back in space. So I'm going to kind of play with that angle and say, oh, what does it look like if I make it look more like it has a perspective to it? I can take another one and say, maybe I'm gonna leave it square, not mess with the dots, and make this square look like it's kind of going that way in perspective. Maybe another one goes like this. And now I've made a parallelogram. So I've taken and manipulated each of my elements. So in other words, when I'm done with this, none of my shapes look like the basic shape that the tool made. I've gone in and manipulated each one. Does that make sense?
What is that tool called again?
I'm using the direct selection tool. It's the white arrow. So I'm going to go back to the regular selection tool, which is the black arrow, and I'm going to select my circle. And I'm going to make a duplicate by holding the Shift, Option, Control, or Alt if you're on a PC down. I'm on a Mac, so a lot of times I'll use Mac terms first, and then I'll add the PC version. So here's my 4 circles, and I'm going to do the same thing with my circles. I'm going to go back to my white arrow, the direct selection tool, and say, okay, how can I manipulate? Now this time I'm using my circle, and I have these little handles. I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. These little handles, which are called mezzanine handles, they make a curve and they adjust the way the curve moves and functions. So be careful, because if you go too much, it can get out of hand quickly. You kind of want to move this in slow, kind of steady ways and kind of think, okay, I want to make, what do I want to turn this circle in? What kind of blobby shape do I want to go with? Maybe that's the first one. I go down and play with maybe making this more ovalish and having more of a direction. The third one. Okay, any questions as I'm kind of showing what we're doing? So the tools we're activating are the shape tools, the selection tools, and the pen tool. You can pull out the handles and they'll make the oval or the circle rounder. You can make the circle when you click on the main point, and then you can pull on the handles. I feel like this one's turning into like a gnome hat or something. Right? So, and we're going to do that for each one. And so you can use the direct selection tool to move the whole object. You can do copy and paste. Copy and paste. And copy and paste. Copy and paste. And then we're going to go through and kind of keep playing with, you know, what they are. Let's look at the star. So if we go into the star, we can go, again, direct selection tool, which is the white arrow. I can round it, right? Make it more like a little baby toy, soft edge. It's not going to hurt anyone. Another thing with the star tool, you can just click it and you can tell it how many points to have. So this is actually a cool feature of the star tool. I can say, oh, I want to have 8 points. You can also choose the scale and the radius and say, okay. And so my star doesn't have to have just 5 points. It can have as many points as you want. So it can be, it doesn't have to be the 5-pointed. That's just the default. You can make it have, like this one is what, 8 points. I can decide a star is going to have, I can just, and what you do is you choose the star and you hit click, and then you can tell it how many points. So let's say I want to do 12 points. Right? So you can make your star have as many, and you can make as many variations of the star as you want. Okay. You can also do that with your polygon. The average is 6. You can also say, let's make it 9. So you can also do that with the polygon and make that different sides as well, and kind of play with that, those variations. The polygon, you can also say, what does it look like with 7? And then take the polygon and say about 10. Okay, and try to those different elements of the polygon. You can also, you know, squish your shape, shrink it, or if you want to keep it symmetrical, you hold your shift key down and you can scale it symmetrically with the shift key holding down. Or if you don't hold the shift key down, you can kind of play with those relationships. This one can feel more squished, and this one could feel more vertical if we wanted. Okay. Now, the next thing you can play with is the line weight. So here you can see it's on the basic line, which is fine, and the stroke is 1 point. You can say, okay, I want to go with a 15 point. And maybe this one, I want to go 5. Or this one, I want to go 16. I want you to use a different weight. I don't want you to fill in the shape. So there's an option, you can take a shape over here, and right now it's just white and you can fill it. I don't want you to fill them. I want you to keep them aligned because we're making more of an interactive graphic with lines. So don't fill your shapes, keep them outlines, and we're only working in black. So even though, you know, there's a whole rainbow of colors, we're not doing anything with color right now. So just focus on black and then focus on the weight you want your line. I also want you to just stick with the basic line. Don't go into these other textured lines. Right now, we're just working with the basic line. So just stay basic with the line. Okay. And that's what I want you to focus on. So thinking about the weight of the line, you can play with that. You can play with the shape. right? And so then once you've created all of these and you've addressed, you know, the line stroke, and you've kind of gone through and you've made some decisions here. You want to pick the strongest shape of all of these, and let's say, okay, so you're going to talk with your group, right? We're going to do the 12, do the 20, and then share this with your group. And all you need to do is you can do a, you can save it out as export as. And so you can put this in, go into my folder, go into intro to design, go into my projects, go into my project 2, and I can name this, you know, 20 shapes. And I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Project 2, export. Say okay. And then I can save that to my Slack channel. So I can go over to Slack and go into my channel, and then go ahead and post it here in your channel, the picture into your channel, and share that with your group. And then your group is going to give you feedback on which one they feel strongest about. It's going to help actually to, you know, kind of talk about which ones they're feeling strongest about. Once you have one that you like, so let's say I've decided this is the one down here that I want to move forward with. I'm gonna just move these over ones to the side. Move all of these to the side. So now my next step is I'm going to take the one I like the best, and I'm going to copy it 4 times. Okay, so I'm going to have it 4 times. So I have 4 copies of the one object. I'm now going to take and manipulate this object and layer it. So it's going to stay the same. So I'm using the direct select tool. I'm not using the white direct select, you know, direct. I'm using the regular selection tool. And I want to play with, how do I combine these 4 shapes? Hold my shift key down, or am I going to change the orientation? You could do either. How do I make these into a composition using just this one shape 4 different times? What connections do I want to make? How do I want to make this basically its own little design? What's my plan? How do I want things to overlap? I want to have them all connected. The point is for these is they do have to connect. So you cannot make a logo, an arrangement where they're all like this. They need to all overlap and connect. And so how do we make them connect? You know, you can play with scale. You can play with, you know, the arrangement. You can play with adjusting even the stroke weight. You can say I might make some of them a different stroke weight. You can rotate them the opposite way maybe on some of these. And the rotating them, you notice if I select a tool and you see the little 2 arrows show up, that shows me I can rotate my object. If I hold my shift key down, it'll help me rotate only in quarter turns when I'm holding the shift key down. If I don't hold the shift key down, it's free flowing. Okay, and so then, you know, you can decide how do you want your arrangement to be, but they do need to all connect. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to pause here for a moment. Thoughts, questions? Are you all with me? Maddie, yeah, question.
So this is like semi-related, but will you send out a message when you get the okay to get us signed up for Adobe? Because I haven't gotten an email back yet. from the
Yes,
from COD?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Definitely. Thank you. Good question. Okay. So once you get this design the way you want it, right? Once you have it where you want it, we're going to go ahead and save it. We're going to say save as, and we're going to save it on our computer. And I'm going to save it as project 2A, and then your name. Okay. I'm going to save it in my project 2 folder, save. And I'm going to save it just as an Illustrator file. I'm also going to save it out to share on my Slack channel, and you can't save an Illustrator file on your Slack channel. So we're going to do a save as on my computer instead of Illustrator, or actually I take it back. We're not going to do a save, cancel. We're going to do an export file, export as same name, and it's just going to be a JPEG. We're going to export it. And the reason is for that is that I can share that on my Slack channel and on my Miro board. Okay, so here's my design. My first one, my final design. I'm going to probably center it more on my page. So here's my final design. Now, the AI file I just created for this, I am going to share with everyone in my group. Okay, so this file, this AI file, I'm going to go ahead and save. Again, that I just adjusted it. And now I'm going to share it. There is a button up here in the top of Illustrator that allows you to share. And you can save it as a cloud document to share. And I'm going to say continue. And you're going to have a file folder that you can add here. So you can create a new folder for graphic design 1, save. And then here I can say project 2, save. Okay, and I'm going to save it there. And then I can copy a link. Only invited people can access. So I'm going to copy this link, and it's copied to my clipboard. And I'm going to go into my small group, or you can even put it actually on, maybe just put it on your Slack channel. That might be the easiest thing. So I'm going to put it on my Slack channel. So you're going to choose, I'm going to use my office hours Slack channel for the heck of it. So this is my channel, let's say, and I'm going to paste my link here in my channel so that the rest of my group members can grab it and access this file. Okay. Why are we going to do that? Because you're going to then make a new composition that is going to incorporate your design plus everyone in your group. You're going to make a more like a master composition. Each one of you are going to take, so let's say, if you're seeing it filled in, you want to go over here to the path and go with a red line across it. That makes them translucent so you can see through them. I'm going to make it. So here is, let's say, another member of my group's design. I need to incorporate their design into my design somehow. And that's going to be up to you. So you're going to have, someone's design there, plus you're going to have someone else's design. You get the idea, and you're going to incorporate all of these different designs into creating a design that's going to be cohesive with all the group members. And each one of you are going to have your own interpretation of it. So we'll have 4 different, every person in the group will have, incorporated the 4, or one group is 5 folks design into one, and you're all going to do it individually. So you all have a different interpretation of how you combine everyone's marks together. Understood? All right. So that's this assignment as we learn how to use the tools. One of the things that we can use once we kind of get these going is there's one other thing I want to show you, and I just realized I forgot to show you. There's one more cool tool I want you to be aware of. Let me take these guys out. Before you finish your design, sorry, get this out of here. So here I'm still on my design. Here's my design. They're right now still 4 separate shapes. I'm sorry, there's one other step I want to make sure you do. You want to go into the Pathfinder tool. This is a tool that helps us create all objects that have all become one. So you're going to go to Window, to Pathfinder, and open this window up if you haven't got it open already. And then once you have it, you want to select all of your shapes and go to the shape modes and unite. You can do that, pull them all together. That's one way. You can do another where you intersect. Oh, that one didn't have a, you don't want to take them apart. You still want to see all 4 shapes. You can crop. That's not going to work. See if there's, some of these might not work as good as I think. Maybe I won't have you do this because I think you're going to take too much of it away. I think I want to see the overlap. You know what? I'm not going to have you do the Pathfinder. Don't use the Pathfinder for this. I think it'll take too much away. I think I'd rather just keep them separate shapes, but I want you to group them so they stay exactly the way they're supposed to. So go to Object, Group, and then now they're one unit that you can move around. So before you hand it off to your classmate, you want to group it so when they touch it with the selection tool, they stay. The design stays consistent as one. And to do that, you want to go to Object, Group, and leave it so that when you receive a design from your classmate, you don't change their design. You keep their design. The thing you can do with their design is you can change the scale of it. But one thing I want you to see what's happening. My weight of my line is changing as I scale it. A way to avoid that is to go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. And then once we've outlined the stroke, we can move it and it's not changing the weight of the stroke. It's staying the same. So to keep your stroke from changing, I'm going to go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Okay, I'm going to hit Save. Now I feel like it's ready to share with my classmate. It's grouped, I've outlined the stroke, and it's ready to share, okay?